Welcome to my garden. It is mid-March, so everything here is still fairly dormant. I have a few perennials that are starting to peek their heads out, and I've got a whole lot of weeds that I'm working on so that we can get ready for spring planting and vegetables and all the fun stuff. So today we're going to talk about drip irrigation, and as you recall, we've talked about that before and the benefits of it, but let's just review. So the benefits of drip irrigation, the very first one is that it's better for our environment that we live in here in Texas because we have a lot of heat and we have a lot of evaporation. So drip line sits below the mulch surface in the soil, so our moisture is getting straight to the plants, and that moisture is not spraying up on the plants and evaporating into the air. Also, drip line, by not having moisture going straight onto the leaves, it's going to keep our fungus levels down. And so those are just a few of the benefits. So we're going to talk about the pieces that you need to put together irrigation, and also just kind of what that looks like in a real life situation. Okay, so there's a couple things with drip irrigation. There's some different sizes of line. The one that's right here in this bed is about the size of a pencil, and drip line has emitters in them. You can see these holes right here. The holes that are built into these lines, they emit the water dripping out right here. Okay, that's what that's for. And it's every about 1 foot on this line. And then there's also larger lines. So I'm going to have you follow me over here so you can see what this line looks like right over here. So this right here is the larger line, and you can see it has the same kind of emitters right here and right here to let that moisture out of the hose. Okay, now right here you'll notice that I've got this one hooked just straight into here. We're going to talk about timers today because I am the kind of person, and you can bring it back up and we'll go back over here where my tools and stuff are. I'm the kind of person that's going to kill everything unless I have it on irrigation. Okay, I'm a busy girl and I don't have time to come out here and spend hours a day watering my garden. So that's why timers are super important for me and most everybody else in the world. So we're going to take a look at a few pieces. I just pulled these out of my shed because it's been winter time and we've not needed a whole lot of moisture, but coming into these warmer days we're going to need irrigation. Okay, so this right here is an Orbit timer. And there's a lot of different brands out there. Orbit is one of the most common that you'll find in a box store like Lowe's or Home Depot or a wholesaler. And you'll see that there's a timer right here, and there's ways to set these. These come with instructions, so read your instructions on how to set them. But these are really handy because you can set your start time and how long you want your irrigation to run and how often you want it to run, whether it's every 1 day, every 2 days. So you can change your settings varying upon your season and the temperature outside. Right now, we're having some rain this week, so I'm not gonna need to set the irrigation to come on as often as I would in the summertime. In the summertime, it's gonna be more frequent and for a longer duration of time. So here's my timer, and this piece right here screws right into the spigot. Okay, it has a filter right here on this side. This is gonna screw into the spigot side. And then this right here screws into this piece right here. This is a PSI regulator. And what this does is it regulates the pressure that's coming out of the spigot that's then going into my drip line. Okay? So that's what that piece is. And I'm going to show you a couple other pieces that we can tie into our line here. All right, this one right here is the next piece that goes on to our PSI regulator, and then this right here attaches directly to the drip line. So you're gonna push that drip line up nice and snug right here, and then tighten this screw down. That way we don't have any leaks. And then that water, as soon as that timer goes on, it's gonna come out and go into your drip line. A few other pieces. If you have critters like I do, and Kale, I'm gonna have you back out just a little bit. If you have critters like I do, that armadillos, they like a drink of water every now and so do squirrels. They like to bite into my lines sometimes, and I have to repair them. Other accidents happen, like I might be weeding or hoeing and cut a hole in one of my drip lines. So what I have to do is I have to cut on either side, and this is a joint piece. So this is just a coupling that is going to join one side of the line to the other. So that's what that is. And then this is an elbow. If I need to make a change in the direction of my line, most of the time with the drip line, you can just have a nice curve and not have to join these. But occasionally you might need something like this. This is a T. Same kind of joint. You're gonna have the drip line come into this side, and it's got 3 sides. Okay, so you can make a T with that. And then this one right here is an end joint. So you can see that the hose is gonna come in here, and then these are capped off. Okay, and I was looking for, there's a couple other handy pieces that help you close off the end of the line, and I don't have those, but they do exist. A lot of them just look like a simple cap, a simple, just a 1 screw cap that goes on the end, and you would put that at the end of the line. And one like this where you can unscrew it is great because you want to be able to flush your line out periodically to make sure that there's no dirt and debris and that kind of thing that's got caught up in there that's going to affect your emitters. So every season you're going to unscrew the end, blow out the line, and let it run, and then you can screw that cap back on. And if the cap's not on, obviously the pressure doesn't build inside the drip line, and the water's not going to come out the drip emitters if your cap's not on, if it's not building pressure. And then a couple other. This right here is a hole puncher. Okay, so you can see that sharp point here on the end. This is what I would use if I needed to put a hole in either a poly line that doesn't have a drip emitter in it. The ones that I showed you, the brown lines, they have them built in. But you can also use just a black poly and pop your own drippers in there wherever you want. Now that can be very efficient if you don't have plants that are really close together, but you're trying to carry that water from one place to the other, and you don't want to water everything along the way, but you just want to water this bush, and then you've got 15 feet, and then you want to water this bush. Well, there's no sense in watering the 15 feet in between, right? So what we want to do is maybe use a black poly that doesn't have emitters in it, and just poke a hole in that black poly and put a dripper in where we want it to. Now there's other times that we might not want drip line that's underneath the surface, and instead we might want to use some micro sprinklers. So these right here are an example of a micro sprinkler that's on a stake. Okay, this is a stake assembly, and the stake goes into the soil, and this is zip tied, so this would be loose if I were to cut it open. And this piece right here is what we pop into our drip line or our poly. So I would take this piece right here, this orange, and I would poke it into my main trunk line, and then this purple piece is going to fit directly into that line, and you can see that it has an edge on it right here, and that keeps it from coming out. It keeps it snug and secure. And then it twists to allow the amount of flow that I want. So I can close it off completely, or I can open it up, okay? Now, top part right here, there is some different attachments that you can put on top that are gonna cause it to sprinkle. And so this would be really good for plants that need moisture on the top, like your lettuce, or things like that, that you want to actually get the moisture onto the plant and not just the roots. Okay, and lastly, I have a couple stakes here. This one right here is very small, and it fits right around the small drip line that I just showed you over here. And it helps keep it in place once we have it laying on the ground, and it just snaps into place right there so that it doesn't shift on you. And then this one right here, actually found in the camping department at Walmart, and I just use it to hold down the wider diameter drip line. and that way it doesn't shift on you. Sometimes I find that they rise a little bit above the surface and then you're seeing it above your mulch line, which isn't so pretty. So I like to keep them down below the mulch, and then once I have all my drip line in place, then I put mulch on top to keep my weeds down and to keep the moisture into the soil so that it doesn't evaporate. After all, that's the purpose of the drip line, right? So I'm about to load all my batteries into my timers and try to get all of these on my spigot so that I can have a live garden this year instead of killing things like I typically do. So I hope that you learned a little bit about drip lines and the importance of them and how easy it is for you to install them. Have a great day. Happy gardening.